Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Quisha King Show. Thank you so much for watching. I am Quisha King, and that's Quisha with a Q. And today we're going to be talking about how I protected my children from the transgender craze. Let's get started.
Ladies and gentlemen,
This time.
Are you ready to get down?
ladies and gentlemen,
The very first week of my daughter's 8th grade year, she was asked what pronoun she wanted to go by. Well, she came to me, she was really confused. She was like, Mom, like, why are they asking me this? And so I just said, well, don't worry about it. I emailed the teacher never responded. We just let it go. That same teacher went on to subsequently be teaching critical race theory inside of the classroom. And when a teacher willingly incorporates such delusional, unscientific rhetoric into their everyday lingo, their lectures, it makes you wonder just how qualified they are to teach your children, to teach them anything for that matter. And sadly, many teachers are doing this across America, and it doesn't seem to be decreasing. Teachers are being fired for not using the right pronouns. Even the White House has bought into this unscientific ideology. Even the White House says that boys can be girls and girls can be boys. And if your children are inundated 5 days a week, 8 hours a day for 13 years, if we don't do something, they are bound for some of that crazy stuff to get into their minds. So how do we protect them? What do you do? I will tell you what I did. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the video, and please share this video so other parents can know how to protect their children from the transgender craze. Okay, so what I did, I pulled them out. I pulled my kids out of government schools. Now I can hear all of you saying, but I can't do that. And listen, when you realize the dangers of this ideology, you will do whatever you have to do. However, if you can't quite make that work, because I do understand I'm a single parent, unfortunately, I am, and I have a special needs child. So I understand, trust me, I understand the want to do something, the feeling that you can't, and all those things. And I'm going to make another video talking about how you can pull your kids out and how you can do this even with being a single parent. But anyway, what I did, I would ask them probing questions. When a particular controversial conversation would come up, I would ask them about it. And if they gave me kind of like a woke answer or something that was leaning towards something that wasn't very logical, I would take the situation out of that context, put it into another context, and let them and present it to them that way. For instance, and these are true stories, what I'm about to share with you. These are all true. So my oldest daughter had a girl in her classroom who was being socially transitioned to a boy. And we were talking about it because she was like, Mom, like, what's going on? And I said, well, what do you think? What do you think about this? Because you need to see like where they're at with it at first. So she was like, well, I guess, if she feels like she's a boy, I guess so. She's like, she thought it was a little weird, but, she's like, okay, well, not my thing, not my, whatever. And so I said, well, what if I came to you and I said, I feel like George Washington. And this is exactly what I said. I don't know why I always pick George Washington, but I did. I was like, I feel like George Washington. I don't know. I just feel like I am. Just something. It just, everything in my body tells me, everything in my mind, everything in my body tells me that I am George Washington. Why won't you believe me? I am George Washington. I demand that you call me George Washington, and I will not accept anything else except for you calling me George Washington. Well, she was like, that would be crazy. And I would be like, yeah. And I was like, well, what would you do? She was like, I would want you to get help. Well, yeah. So what's the difference if a girl is saying that she is really truly, but she's saying something she truly is not? She just is not. Now she can feel that way, but that's the trigger to get that person some help. That's not the trigger to push them further into that delusion. You are harming them when you do that. And so you say to them, would if you wouldn't do that to me, why would you do that to someone else? It is the same thing. If I was believing something that just was not true, why would you, instead of helping me get back into reality, why would you further push me and say, yes, you are George Washington, Quisha? Yes, yes, mom, you're George Washington. Instinctively, logically, she knows that is bad. She knows it's bad for me to walk around thinking that I'm George Washington. She knew that. And so when I took it out of that context and put it into this George Washington context, it was very easy for her to see. You can do this with anything, any of these controversial conversations, for instance, CRT. Now these conversations we were having before CRT became a thing, but they progressed into when they were still in school. And so we were talking about race, and I would, for instance, I would say, well, would you want someone to treat you different just because you have blonde hair and somebody else has black hair? You have black hair and somebody else has blonde hair. No, why would you be treated different just because you have a different hair color? Same thing. It's the same thing. No one should be treated better or worse because of their skin color. You should not get a privilege, and you should not be denied a privilege or a right simply because you have a different skin color. It does not make you automatically a bad person because you have black hair or blonde hair. It doesn't automatically make you a good person just because you have black hair or whatever. Take the situation out of the controversial political context and put it into another one, because these are like philosophical ideologies. They it's universal law. You treat people equally. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to treat people the way, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. There's no out clause in that statement that says, unless you're black, unless you're white, unless you have red hair, unless you have purple hair, whatever. This is how I did it. And today my children are very well rounded. They have not bought into the woke ideology. They see this crap for what it is. And we've been having these conversations for years now. And they're very well adjusted, and they can have great conversations. They're very logical thinking children. And these conversations have actually brought me closer to my little ones. So what are the conversations that you have with your children to talk about these things? Are you asking probing questions? Let me know in the comment section below. What are you saying? What are you doing with your children to talk about these things? We have to save our kids from the woke mind virus. We have to save the next generation. If this video has been valuable to you, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give it a subscription so you can get more valuable content like this. Don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment below. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.